A divorce attorney threatened to call the IRS, the district attorney, and the state tax agency, unless the man on the other side of the case sent him 3 years of complete financial documents. The attorney did not know that the man on the other side owned an Efax company. The attorney's office printer ran continuously for 48 hours. This is Case File 004, the Fax War. To understand how a single threat from a divorce lawyer collapsed into a written surrender 48 hours later, you need the timeline. The clean one. The one the lawyer's own assistant was forced to read out loud over the phone. Years before any document request was made, the plaintiff was getting divorced. The marriage had soured into a heated custody battle. He could not afford his own attorney, so he was representing himself in court. That's the first thing the opposing counsel underestimated. The players. The plaintiff, a self-represented man in his 30s, recently separated, owner of a small communications technology startup, currently finishing his MBA on scholarships and loans. Diet at the time of the case: peanut butter and saltine crackers. Cash flow: tight enough that copying and postage costs would have meant skipping meals. The defendant, the plaintiff's ex-wife, convinced, incorrectly, that her husband was hiding income and laundering money, currently telling her attorney that the plaintiff had assets stashed somewhere. The third party, the ex-wife's divorce attorney, older, confident, the kind of opposing counsel who talks to a self-represented party as though every breath the man takes is a courtroom violation. He had a fax scanner copier device in his office. He used it lightly. That detail matters later. The witness, the attorney's assistant, a woman whose job that week was about to change forever. The preconditions. The case did not begin with the fax. It began with a phone call. The attorney had sent the plaintiff a letter requesting an updated income declarations form and 3 years of complete financials. The list of required documents covered the entire envelope. The plaintiff called the attorney to explain that producing the documents in physical form, at 30 miles driving distance, at 50 cents a page, would mean eating peanut butter and saltines for a week he could not afford. The attorney did not believe him. He told the plaintiff, and this is the line the file would later turn on. Quote, "According to your income declarations, you're not that busy. What do you do all day?" End quote. That sentence is Exhibit A. The attorney went further. He told the plaintiff that if the documents did not arrive by the deadline, he would consider the prior filings fraudulent and would refer the matter to the district attorney, the state tax agency, and the Internal Revenue Service. The plaintiff was self-represented. He did not know if those threats were enforceable. He assumed they were. He had 2 choices. Option 1, refuse to comply. Risk a criminal referral. Risk the IRS. Risk the state tax authority. Risk the case collapsing into something a self-represented party could not survive. Option 2, comply. Comply completely. He chose option 2. But before he hung up, he asked the attorney one question. Did the office have a fax machine? The attorney confirmed it did. Quote, "What law office doesn't have a fax machine?" End quote. The plaintiff said, okay, he would put together what he could. He would fax it. The call ended. The incident, what the attorney did not know, could not have known, was the nature of the plaintiff's startup company. The startup provided Efax services, software-driven faxing, cloud-based, configurable. the kind of system that could fax 100 documents in a sequence, or one document 100 times, depending on the configuration. The plaintiff went home. He opened his laptop. He began assembling. He scanned every receipt he owned. McDonald's receipts from 5 years earlier, CVS pharmacy receipts, coupons for $1 toothpaste, 3-mile-long printouts from grocery stores. He downloaded every bank statement of the prior 36 months, every credit card statement, every purchase order from every vendor, every invoice he had sent to every client. He printed the entire 3-year accounting journal of his business, monthly balance sheets, quarterly cash flow statements, annual profit and loss reports. He included 3 years of tax filings. He included every notice the IRS had ever sent him. He included every notice from the state tax agency. He even included the small printed inserts that come with IRS letters, the ones that explain a taxpayer's rights. He merged all of it into a single PDF. The file was over 150 pages. Then he made a cover sheet. Black background, white lettering. No images, no phone number, just a title. He inserted separator pages between every section of the document. Every separator page was the largest possible all-caps text the page could fit. 2020 receipts, 2021 taxes, 2019 bank statements. He configured his Efax system. Destination, the attorney's office. Compression, minimal. Retries, unlimited. He clicked send. The evidence. The document began transmitting at the speed an Efax system transmits documents, which is, by design, faster than any individual fax scanner copier device can absorb. The attorney's printer began jamming within minutes. It ran out of toner. The paper tray emptied. The output bin overflowed onto the floor. The first transmission attempt failed somewhere around page 60. The plaintiff's Efax system, configured for unlimited retries, immediately redialed and started again from page 1. The printer began the process all over. Every hour, the plaintiff received a status email saying the fax had failed. He deleted those emails. He did not need to know about failures. He only needed to know about success. The system kept dialing. The system kept transmitting. The printer in the attorney's office ran for 2 days. Item 1, the cover sheet, black background, white text. Reading, quote, 3-year financials as requested, end quote. The cover sheet alone consumed nearly a full toner cartridge. Item 2, the separator pages. Every receipt category had its own all-caps banner page. The banner pages were optimized for visibility. They consumed paper at 3 times the rate of a normal text page. Item 3, the repeated transmissions. By the second day, the attorney's office had received the same 150-page document not once, but 6 times. Partially, with paper jams scattered across each attempt. Item 4, the status emails. Every failure became another retry. The plaintiff's Efax software did not give up. It was designed to be persistent. Persistent was its selling point. Item 5, the phone call. It came on the second afternoon, from the attorney's assistant. Quote, "Please stop sending the fax," end quote. The plaintiff explained that the attorney had instructed him to send the financials by the deadline, or face criminal referral. Therefore, he was complying. He would continue complying until he received a confirmation that every page had transmitted successfully. The assistant suggested he email the file instead. The plaintiff said, a small lie that did not require a witness, that his email could not handle attachments of that size. Unless the attorney sent, in writing, a withdrawal of the document request, or agreed to reimburse the plaintiff for postage and printing costs. The fax would continue. The assistant put him on hold. The trap. The attorney himself came on the line. He told the plaintiff to forget the financials. The plaintiff said, "That was good." He needed it in writing. The attorney said he would send the writing as soon as the plaintiff stopped faxing. The plaintiff said the writing came first. There was a long silence on the line. Then a click. The attorney had hung up. 20 minutes later, an email arrived in the plaintiff's inbox from the attorney's assistant. Subject line: Withdrawal of document request. Attached was a signed PDF, the attorney's letterhead, the attorney's signature. The plaintiff was no longer required to provide 3 years of financials. The letter included one additional paragraph. The attorney threatened to pursue sanctions in court. The attorney threatened to sue the plaintiff for interfering with the firm's business. The plaintiff read both threats. He filed the email. He stopped the fax. The verdict. The case went on. The divorce eventually closed. The custody arrangement was reached. In every subsequent court appearance the plaintiff had with that attorney, over months of remaining proceedings, the attorney never mentioned sanctions. He never filed a lawsuit for interference. He never referred anything to the district attorney. He never contacted the IRS. He never contacted the state tax agency. He never raised the financials again. He simply, and this is the only word that fits, never threatened the plaintiff again. Case closed. This is case file 004. The evidence chain runs from one threatening sentence, quote, "What do you do all day?" End quote, to a 150-page PDF, to 2 days of continuous printing, to a phone call from an exhausted assistant, to a written withdrawal of the entire document request. There are 3 pieces of this file we will never know. We do not know what the attorney told his client, whether he explained that the financials request had been withdrawn, whether he disclosed why, whether the ex-wife learned that the man she had accused of money laundering had just sent every receipt of his frugal life through her own attorney's printer. We do not know what the assistant said to her colleagues that week, whether she warned future opposing parties, whether she remembered the cover sheet that read, quote, 3-year financials as requested. And we do not know how much the toner cost. What we know is this: when a powerful man threatens a weaker man with the law, the weaker man has 2 choices: refuse and risk consequences he cannot afford, or comply so completely that the request itself becomes the consequence. The attorney chose to threaten a self-represented party. He did not check what the self-represented party did for a living. He found out. The lesson in this file is uncomfortable and precise. When you ask someone for everything, make sure your office can hold everything. The file closes. The next one opens, whenever you decide to open it. The attorney never knew his opponent owned an Efax company until the printer had been running for 2 days. Have you ever underestimated someone's job and learned about it the hard way?